Hello coders, and welcome to episode 34 of the How to Code Well podcast. For those watching on YouTube, you'll already know that I am alone. There is no guest here with me today. This episode is going to be talking about How to Code Well, the How to Code Well platform, if you will, that I am creating, I'm building. We're going to be splitting this up into 4 different areas. First of all, we're going to be talking about the podcast. Then we're going to be talking about the YouTube channel. Then we're going to be talking about the live coding. And then we're going to be talking about some of the courses that I have done. This is, I do appreciate a bit of a self-indulgent show. I do appreciate that. And I do apologize and just sort of have to bear with me here. There is obviously different audiences in different places, live coding, podcast, and YouTube. And what I would like to do today is just talk about those areas and sort of like make you aware of the different things that How to Code Well can offer. And also just talk through how it's worked. So How to Code Well, we're going to focus on the podcast first. This is obviously what you're listening to right now. So the podcast is doing extremely well. And it's got a huge global reach. We're talking of tens of thousands of people listening and tuning in, which is super awesome. So hello, everyone from all over the world. It's fantastic to have you on board, and consistently have you on board as well, which is super awesome. You're obviously finding these talks, these conversations that I have with guests, as fascinating as I am, which is so cool. I love to speak to people talking about their development background, talking about the aspects of web development and coding that they focus on, and it just blows my mind every time I talk to guests, and we go down various rabbit holes and different tangents and so forth. So I just want to say a massive thank you. I haven't been able to do that yet. A massive thank you to each and every guest that I've had on. Like I said, this is show 34. So we've had, obviously not 34 guests, but we've had a lot of guests on. So do check out the previous guests if you haven't done so, the previous shows. So that's howtocodewell.fm. And also what you can do is check out the schedule. Sorry, I lost my words there. The schedule. So you can see what guests are coming on in the future. Now, if you want to be a guest yourself, then do let me know. My Twitter DMs are always open. So drop me a DM there. And also, if you want to suggest a topic or if you want to suggest a guest yourself, then let me know as well. That would be super awesome. Okay, so this podcast is both a video show and it's an audio show. The majority of people are listening to this, and this is a different audience to the YouTube. You will go and see the YouTube channel and you'll see that the viewing of each episode is quite low, and unfortunately you can't see the amount of people who listen. You don't actually have access to that private data of the podcast host. But it's crazy high. It's crazy high. So it is a different audience. It's a different audience. And this is because people listen to podcasts whilst they're walking, whilst they're washing the dishes, whilst they're working out, whilst they're on their commute. You can't easily do all of that kind of stuff when you're watching a video, and therefore it's a completely different audience, which is super cool. It's something that I sort of accidentally got into, which is great. So let's now go into the YouTube stuff. So the YouTube is the core of How to Code Well, because that's where it all started from, right? So we have around 400 uploads, 400 videos on the YouTube channel, How to Code Well. And we, over a good few years. In fact, we have gone well over 500,000 views on YouTube, which is so cool. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's viewed, everybody who's contributed, commented, liked, subscribed to the YouTube channel, How to Code Well. And also, we're very close to 10,000 subscribers. We are something like 8,120 something at the time of recording, which is so cool. I couldn't even sort of like dream that of this amount of people coming on and watching videos is fantastic. When we hit 10,000, or if we hit 10,000, I should say, if we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing an Ask Me Anything video. So over the previous few months, I've been collecting questions and I've been writing them down in my notebooks, and I've been obviously answering those questions on the videos that they've been asked on, but I've also been collecting them separately because I'm going to be answering them again on the video. And these are both technical and non-technical questions. So when we get to 10,000, that Ask Me Anything video will be available, which is so cool. So I'm kind of building that out at the moment. Okay, so let's now talk about the live coding. Okay, because this is the third arm of How to Code Well. This is something that I've been pushing into recently with the live coding, because this is a different way of the tutorials. We've got loads, like I said, we've got like 400 videos on the How to Code Well YouTube channel. Most of those, I should say, are tutorials. They are Docker tutorials, they are JavaScript tutorials, they are PHP and Python tutorials, and so on and so forth. Those tutorials are very clean. They're very sort of like, they are scripted. It works, right? Live coding is very different. This is where it's very raw. You actually see me fail a lot of the time, where I'm having to fix bugs that I've created, unknowingly, or I'm having to think about architecture and all of that stuff. So it's more engaging in that sense, in the sort of the live sense, and it's far longer than the YouTube videos, the sort of the 10-20 minute YouTube videos. So this is happening on Twitch. So this is twitch.tv/howtocodewell. And I have been archiving some of these streams to YouTube. And what we're doing at the moment is we're building a invoicing application. And it's pure PHP, so there's no frameworks involved, there's no libraries involved apart from Codeception, because we're using that to test. And we're building an object-oriented application, which is an invoicing application. So I do this every weekday, or most weekdays at 7:30 British Summer Time. It really depends on whether I need to be at a different office. If I need to be at a different office on that day, then I can't obviously live stream because I'm commuting. This is eventually going to be a course that I am going to be producing for Free Code Camp, which is super, super awesome. So they got in touch and asked if I could do a course around PHP and object-oriented programming. And I already have an OOP course on the YouTube channel, How to Code Well, but it doesn't show you object-oriented programming from the perspective of building an application. It just shows you, like, this is what polymorphism means, this is what encapsulation means, this is what the visibility scopes are, that kind of thing. Whereas this is more sort of, let's build an application. So we're actually building a framework. We're using Docker, we're using MySQL, we're using all sorts of other good pieces of tech. And we've built the models and the views and the controllers, and we're slowly building out that application. I think we're close to, say, the 40th video in that, or live stream in that. So that happens, like I said, most weekdays at 7:30 British Summer Time. And the course, once that application is ready, the course will be showing all of the aspects of object-oriented programming through the eyes of that invoicing application. So what I'm trying to say here is that we're not actually doing the course on the live streams. The live streams are just me demonstrating how I'm building this application for the course. Okay. So that's happening. We also do a live stream some Sundays, usually at 14:30, which is 2:30 p.m. British Summer Time. That's a longer live stream. It's more chilled out. There's not really any kind of sort of strict thing that I want to do or build. I'm mostly building side projects, but it's very engaging. There's lots of people that come on board and talk about various different aspects of programming. So do join. And those Sunday streams are never archived on YouTube. They're only archived on Twitch, and I think Twitch removes the videos after every fortnight, every 2 weeks. Okay, so that's the live coding. Now we're going to talk about the courses. So this is an area that I work with. with various publication companies. So I've worked with Manning and I've worked with Pact Publishing. And I've created a couple of courses. We've got the Docker in Motion course that will teach you the fundamentals of Docker. We have a course on Python clean coding, so mastering Python clean coding. That's with Pact. We also have a hands-on microservices course with Pact, and I am currently working on other courses for Pact as well regarding Python 2. But more about that later on, I think. So that's kind of how to code well. There's sort of the 4 areas of how to code well in a nutshell. One thing I should say, or I would like to say, because when I do say this to people, they're like, really? This is a sort of a hobby of mine. This is what I do in my spare time. So when I say spare time, the only time I have that I'm not actually doing any work for anybody else. So this is where I say it's like a hobby, because this is what happens on the weekends, the evenings, the early mornings. I'm always constantly uploading something to somewhere, or editing something. So yeah. This is super cool. It is extremely busy. It's extremely busy, but I think I've got a nice balance where you've got the podcast, you've got the live streams, and then you've got the dedicated tutorials and courses on the YouTube channel as well. And then some other external courses that I've done for other people. I'll leave all the links and all the jazz in the show notes below. If you've got any questions, if you want to have any questions answered on the Ask Me Anything, then do let me know on Twitter. That's at howtocodewell. And also follow along on other social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Again, How to Code Well on there. Because what I do is I use the stories to push out whenever I'm going to go live, or when the next podcast is available and that kind of thing. And also you can get some sort of backstage info, if you will, backstage, of my setup and other bits and pieces that I do. So yeah. Anyway, that's enough of me. I do appreciate this has been a bit of a self-promoting sort of video, a podcast thing. And I do appreciate that. Next podcast is going to be back to our regular scheduled episodes where I have a guest on. Sorry, my throat is going. But in the meantime, if I don't see you on the Twitch live streams, if I don't hear from you in the comments of YouTube or the Twitter DMs, I just want to say thank you ever so much for being a part of How to Code Well. Happy coding, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers. Bye.